Hello there, people of the internet. How is everybody doing today? I got something for you guys that I was not really expecting to make, but apparently there's still some people out there who are simply unaware of certain imports that are being brought into the country right now. Recently, Italy had surplused a lot of their various firearms that they had stored inside of their warehouses and whatnot. And one of the most predominant, cheapest versions of these firearms is this cavalry carbine right here. I made full-on videos on basically all of the ones that I have. Since these are such a good deal, I went out of my way to go ahead and buy several of them. And if you want to look up on the channel, see me actually, running these and checking them out and going in depth on each and every one of them, you can look that up. That would be no problem at all. But we have ourselves a rifle chambered in 6.5 Carcano, and these right here can be found for as little as about $100. Now, whenever I had bought mine, there was a flash sale going on with a certain importer who I cannot name, but I have seen these rifles sold through several distributors and on several various websites that I cannot name simply because of YouTube's terms and policies and whatnot, so I can't tell you guys where to actually find them. But of course, I cannot literally sit here and verbally tell you guys where to find them. But of course, you can go online and find sources to be able to find these available for yourselves. It would not take a lot of time or effort to be able to find that. I just can't tell you myself. But the 6.5 Carcano, this right here being the cavalry carbine, the version that has the bayonet actually attached to the rifle, like I said, you can find these for under $100. For the amount of money that you spend on a rifle like this, it simply cannot be beat, especially for the historical provenance that you're paying for the rifle. You get this built-in bayonet that is really cool. You get a rifle from either World War I or World War II. It's kind of luck of the draw whenever it comes from that. Sometimes you can find these being a pre-98 date, so they would be antique-style firearms, so you would not even need an FFL to be able to get yourself one of those pre-98 models. Now, it says right on the side of the receiver what year it was made in. This particular one is a 1937 production. And whenever I'd gotten this one was not a luck of the draw. I knew exactly what I was getting whenever I got this one. And this one was showing signs of wear and tear and whatnot. We have damage all over the stock on this. We got damage along the metalwork and the barrel and the front sight of this rifle. Whatever had happened to this rifle, it was either hit by shrapnel from like a grenade or artillery shell or something like that. It was definitely not in a good spot. You can really see it on the front nose cap right there. Something had happened probably during the Second World War with this rifle, and that's just a clear indicator of some of the history behind this rifle. Now, these rifles, like I said, they could be from the First or Second World War. It really is luck of the draw. I have a couple of these that are like 1918 production, and I have a couple of these that are 1930s, late 1930s production, just in time for the Second World War. 6.5 Carcano is not necessarily the easiest caliber to find, especially whenever these were first coming into the country. However, it is definitely much easier than it used to be, and it is much less expensive than it used to be. Nowadays, you can get yourself a box of ammunition for this right here for around $30 or so. It's going to run you, well, maybe even less than that, maybe like $25 depending on how much you get. In a lot of cases, I've actually seen situations where if you buy in bulk, it can cost as low as 80 cents per shot. This right here is a 2.68 diameter rifle, and most of your 6.5 rounds are going to be a 2.64 diameter projectile, including the 6.5 Carcano that you buy on the market nowadays, unless it specifies otherwise. So they're not necessarily going to be the most accurate rifles out at very, very long ranges. But like as long as you keep it within like 300 yards or so, which most of us are going to keep it within that 300 yard mark, you're not going to really have any issues with accuracy with these right here with that 2.64 diameter projectile. So it's a mil-spec, all milled wood and steel, fantastic quality firearm for the amount of money that you're spending. Anytime that you're spending less than $100 to be able to pick yourself a Milsurp rifle like this right here, something that has a significant amount of history and provenance behind it, I see that as something that cannot be beat. I see that as something that is beyond what we would expect nowadays. I know probably about a decade or so ago, maybe like 15 years by this point, you used to be able to get firearms like the Mosin Nagant or firearms like various Mauser models, you used to be able to pick those up for about the same price point as you're picking up this Kar 98. The only difference with this compared to those is the ammunition was also very readily available for those rifles as opposed to the ammunition for the Carcano. Most of the time, people kind of try to steer away from the Carcano simply because of a lack of ammunition availability. However, the ammunition, like I said, is becoming much more available on the market nowadays, especially as manufacturers are stepping up production to try and compensate for the tremendous increase in these rifles that have recently been brought into the United States. And we are seeing that very clearly as ammunition becomes more available and the prices start going down. And as people start to see the prices of the ammunition is going down and the availability is going up, people will start to lean more in towards buying these rifles. Now, this right here is not like the Mauser system, meaning you can't just take the ammo and load it directly into the gun. You do need a specific separate clip to be able to load into the internal magazine of this firearm, just like you would need like the separate magazine to load into an AR platform or a separate magazine to load into a handgun or something like that. It's the same kind of concept with this right here. This just takes a Monlicker style in-block clip that loads into the firearm. You could single shot this, I suppose, but keep in mind that this is a controlled feed system, so you do risk breaking your extractor if you just shove around into the chamber and then hop your extractor over it. So you will need that clip. I definitely recommend that you get that clip if you decide to use one of these rifles. They're not expensive. You could pick one up for like $5 to $7 depending on the condition, and they do still make the clips to this day. There are reproduced ones, so you don't have to worry about not being able to find a clip for this rifle. Normally with these cavalry carbines, they would actually have a bent bolt handle on it to make the rifle a little bit more compact. This one has a straight bolt handle on it simply because whenever I'd gotten this one, it did not have a bolt with it, and I just so happened to have a straight bolt handle for my Carcano. These tend to be pretty smooth, especially once you clean out the cosmoline and whatnot that are inside of these things. They tend to have some grease and some buildup in them from sitting in a warehouse for the past 50 years. So bear that in mind if you do decide to go ahead and get yourself one of these that are from the Italian stockpile. A very easy way to get cosmoline out, I mean, it's literally just like oil and wax. You get it warm, heat up the gun. I kind of set mine in the sun, and it literally just kind of like starts dripping off of there, and it cleans it up very nicely. Mineral spirits and a rag, that will also clean it up very well. And then you just kind of go through and you oil it up, and you have yourself a Milsurp rifle for not a lot of money that is in a full power rifle cartridge. Not necessarily the most powerful full power rifle cartridge, but it is powerful enough to be able to handle most of the things that people would need a rifle to be able to handle. Not only that, but since it is a less powerful round, and being a 6.5 millimeter round, it is going to be less of a recoil. You're going to have less kick from the firearm whenever you shoot it. I know there's been quite a few times where I've shot this one right here, and you can see on camera how it doesn't rock me like a hurricane, like say an 8mm Mauser would. This right here would absolutely destroy my day. This right here is a Yugoslavian 24-47. You can find these for about $400. One of the best parts about these Carcano models is the fact that you can literally go out and get like 4 of these, have 4 rifles for the same price as something like a dirt cheap Yugo Mauser. Or if you actually, this is another good one. Here's an SKS. I just so happen to have these sitting here because I was doing some recording earlier. Here's an SKS. You can find these for $500 approximately nowadays. And yeah, you could get yourself 5 of these Carcanos or 1 single SKS. You could, have yourself quite the formidable squad armed with a bunch of Carcanos for the same price as an SKS. Or look into modern guns. You can get yourself 4 of these rifles for the same price as an entry-level bottom with a barrel AR. And this right here is probably going to work better in all honesty. Okay, well, I think I've said my piece. I think I have covered everything that I want to say. I feel like I'm forgetting something though, but I'm sure you guys will tell me down in the comments. I'm making this video so I can go ahead and just basically send this link to anybody who is asking about it, because I have had quite a few people ask about it, and people just don't keep up with what's going on. These rifles were actually imported like several years ago at this point, whenever Italy had surplus their stuff out, so yeah. Okay, it's been a little while now, but hey, people are still asking, so I figured I'd go ahead and I'd make this video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see y'all in the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.